Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Phil Richardson, and Elisa has asked me to partner with her this afternoon, and I'm particularly focusing the spirit of welcome. That's my job, pretty much for the afternoon. But in that spirit, I welcome us all here to be together in a celebration and an honoring of an extraordinary life. Into that, I would also like to welcome all of those who would be here if they could, but they can't. And I would welcome you to attend to your cell phones just to make sure that there's no disruption during our time together. I also want to welcome into our midst those who knew and were touched by Ralph, who don't know that this is what we're doing this afternoon, and I would welcome them to be included. I also want to welcome all of those who might not have even been aware of Ralph and his life, but were touched by what he did in his life. I believe that there are many, many people out there who might not have even heard the name Ralph Shepherd mentioned, but who were touched by the fine work and by the most amazing vision that this man had. He himself welcomed much into his life, and many, many people were drawn to support his vision, his work, and join with him in expanding that vision and that work. And I'm sure many of you in this room right now are such people. So this is a time of celebration and honoring. I think Ralph himself would have enjoyed the celebration too, and maybe even his. So I have some words here that were written by Christopher Shepherd and Catherine Moore, who can't make it here themselves, but have offered this, and I have the great pleasure in sharing this with you. It is entitled, "To Our Father Who Art in Heaven," biography of Professor Ralph T. Shepherd. This biography was started in Dirty Days, a pub in the city of London, which, although neither of us accompanied our dad to, we had heard numerous stories of it from when he was living here. We felt it was befitting to celebrate his life and to reminisce on our memories of him. It turned out to be a lovely old city pub that dates back to 1745. Oh, and the steak pie is awesome if you're ever in the vicinity. Firstly, thank you for coming today. And although we are not there in person, we are in spirit, and are both planning to bring our respective families to Cape Town to show our 5 children Novalis and to meet many of you. Ralph was our dad, and although he probably didn't classify as the world's best and most conventional dad, we both loved him very much, and we know how much he loved us. And tonight, we shared a number of brilliant memories which had us in fits of laughter. He was fun-loving, charismatic, charming, and impulsive, and happy to accept the consequences of living his life this way. Dad was born in Portsmouth, England on the 22nd of March, 1942, which was firmly in the middle of the Second World War, to Thomas George Shepherd and Esther Meredith Shepherd. He could always recount his early childhood, including dreams he had of his past life in the Middle Ages. As a young boy, together with his mum, he immigrated to Rhodesia, where his father died. When his father died, he sailed out to Cape Town on the Arundel Castle, which is the boat his father worked on, and often mentioned the impact of the majestic Table Mountain had on him as a boy, and still had on him. From being a very nerdy, gifted, and mollycoddled English boy, he was then brought up by Wimpy on his farm, Kuyahua, in Beatrice, just south of Salisbury, which resulted in Dad riding horses, milking cows, bunking school, being thrown out of school, forming a band, performing on TV, and eventually meeting our mother, who managed to reel in the reins for a short while. Well, at least she thought so. A few other women tried and failed, until Annalisa stepped in with her magic charm and beauty, and Dad found the soulmate he was searching for. Annalisa has always been gracious, loving, and supportive of Dad, and we really appreciate that he was with someone he loved at the end. Oh, and Annalisa, apologies for spraying you with Coke the first time we met. Dad was very proud of and often spoke of being the guitarist in the Roy Francis combo group, and the fact that there was no Roy Francis at all, and that he nearly drowned performing a Houdini act wrapped in chains live on Rhodesian TV. Mum and Dad then moved to London for Dad to study theology based on Rudolf Steiner's vision at Emerson College. However, as he was the only applicant, the course was postponed. This, however, resulted in a significant meeting for Dad, as he spent a lot of time with an artist in her 80s called Gladys Mayer, who enlivened his soul and kick-started all the visions and work that he initiated over the years. Dad's life work revolved around the Anthroposophical Society and Novalis, which he co-founded in December 1983. And he really did put his entire life, soul, and spirit into the various manifestations and activities of Novalis. We are both proud of all he did here, but did not share these passions and were not really part of this side of his life. So we'll happily let someone more qualified elaborate on this and what he achieved through this. We remember Dad as our dad, a fun-loving and caring dad, who took us on long walks around Steinbeck Nature Reserve, which were always rewarded with double-thick multi-Horlicks milkshakes at the Tropicana restaurant. Loved anything in pastry, sweet or savory. Trips to game reserves and staying in tree houses. Walks up and down Table Mountain and through the camphor trees in Kirstenbosch. Complaining about his hypothermia experiences in sub-zero temperatures of winter. The sheer embarrassment of his collection of hats, once exacerbated with a pair of white lady sunglasses. Attending our weddings, emceeing at Chris and Catherine's. Someone who took life by the horns and saw it being too short to worry about holding back on life's excesses. A few glasses of beer and a steak pie seemed a befitting way to celebrate Dad's life. We miss him terribly until we see him again. I hope you have a good afternoon, and we know that Dad would want you to all have a good time, enjoying the excesses of life. We have planned a celebration of his life when both of our families meet for a holiday on the Greek island of Kos. Our condolences